everyone. Welcome to Paul's Blitz, maiden edition of a show that discusses the hot topics making rounds in the country, in current affairs and in entertainment. My name is Betty Kankambwedu. I'll be your host for today. And
Magdalene Terkolanyo.
So, as you already know, this is a discussion we have on the topical issues, making rounds in the country. And we're going to start with a newspaper review. I have the Daily Graphic and the Daily Guide, and Magdalene has three others.
Yeah, I have the Finder, I have the Ghanaian Times, and then BFT.
Okay, so on the front page of the Daily Guide, Nana names 14 ministers. That's the biggest story there. Addo missing head found. Government rejects Mahama house. On the back page, okay, nothing on the back page, Magdalene.
So I think almost every front page today has something on Nana's first ministerial appointment. The Finder has Rescue Economy Press, Akufo Addo task ministers designate. And then there's something from BOG saying they would modernize payment systems. The Ghanaian Times also has President names first team, nominates 13. And then there's something on Woyome, but inside the Ghanaian Times, I would want us to look at page 5. Uganda's president promotes his son. I'll read the first 2 paragraphs of the story so that we would have a brief idea of what it is. Uganda's leader has promoted his eldest son to become a special presidential advisor in a reshuffle of army commanders. Major General Muhoozu Kainerugaba has risen rapidly within the military, fueling speculations that he's being groomed to become president one day. This is one of the biggest issues we have in Africa all the time. African leaders trying to groom their children or somebody close to them to lead when they are gone. And then the BNFT also saying president names 13 ministerial nominees. I guess that's our biggest thing we are discussing in Ghana
and
now.
we will be going into details, as to the people who have been named and what they bring on board and what the expectations will be of them or are of them. Let me read the story on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Government rejects Mahama house. It's a topic we'll be discussing. Let me read what the Daily Guide has here, page 2. Let me take the first and second paragraphs. The Akufo Addo government is not in agreement with a request by former President John Dramani Mahama that he should be allowed to keep his current residence located at number 3 Prestige Lane, Cantonment, Accra. The residence has been the official house for sitting vice presidents. The rejection is contained in a report by the transition team, which was submitted to President Nana Akufo Addo on Monday. Detailed reasons why the new government should not accede to the immediate past president's request. There is spontaneous outrage in the country over the decision by former President Mahama to appropriate the official residence as part of his end of service package. So that's the Daily Graphic basically telling us that government has rejected it, but in the story they seem to be saying that it's really a recommendation to the president by the transition team. Okay, I also have the Daily Graphic, same story. President names 13 as ministers of state. So let me see what they have at the back of the paper. Okay, NGO rallies volunteers to donate blood at the 37 military hospital. Okay, so basically that's what's on the front page, and we're just going to delve into the discussions pretty soon. But Magdalene, let's start with the president's bungalow and the whole brouhaha surrounding it. It seems to still be a very topical issue here in Ghana.
Yes, I'm just thinking that if we are all going to say, oh, this president served and he's staying in his bungalow for how long? I mean, he's not dying anytime soon. It doesn't look like it. And if he's staying for that long, he's keeping that bungalow. Other government officials would need it. Then what next? We have to build a new one. And that would be our funds that we could have used for something else being used for that. Can he just move out? He had a place before he came there. That's my opinion. And that is where it stands. This one, I'm taking an entrenched position. He had a place before he came to contest for president or for vice presidency and all. So if you are done serving, which he came to do, when you come to serve, you don't come to lord over us. So you are done serving. Can you please leave for someone else who is about to serve to get in? That's where it ends.
Well, I'm sorry, the former president, John Akufo, disagrees with you. He has spoken on this, and then his spokesperson, spoke on his behalf, and he's basically saying that he agrees with President Mahama and that he should be allowed to keep the house. And, he said that the most important thing to him is just maintaining the dignity of the office. So it's not so much of, what the president is taking away, he came to serve and all that. It really speaks to the dignity Ghanaians ascribe to the office. And he goes on to say that he still doesn't have his home.
Okay, talk of dignity, we would rather regard you more if you just leave without having to ask for a house and having to, that indirectly tells me you came to serve us because you knew in the end you would get something.
So you think he doesn't deserve anything at all?
He deserves something, and he's been given something anyways.
But you don't think that he should be allowed to make a choice?
No.
Especially a choice on a government property?
On a government property, no.
Well, I guess that debate will continue. But we're all waiting to hear from what President Akufo Addo will say, because as usual, it always lies with them to give us what they're finding, because at the end of the day, they would be giving it to the president, to the ex-president, in this case, John Dramani Mahama.
But let me just say, I wouldn't be surprised if they agree for him to keep the house. I mean, we've always said politicians agree on one thing, they are ex-Russia. Because it's a scratch my back, I scratch your back thing. Yeah. So they agree on it because they know, I mean, we literally run a two-party party system in Ghana here. So if they know, the next party coming to power again is NDC. If I do not agree to theirs, mine is going to be a problem as well. So let me just agree. They would find a way and they will justify it.
Well, but, I think a lot of Ghanaians will then be very, very disappointed in Akufo Addo.
Oh, yeah.
Because, he's touted himself as somebody who is basically coming to challenge the status quo and not follow, what we've known to be the practice all these years. So, and when you listen to the conversations on radio, on social media, almost everybody seems to be saying that Nana Akufo Addo should do the right thing by telling President Mahama that, we're not going to give you this particular house.
Martin, do you think former President John Dramani Mahama has the right to ask for the bungalow, which is traditionally reserved for vice presidents?
I don't think so. It is not right for him to ask for the bungalow of the vice president. Because as a president, you should be able to put up your own house by now, because you've worked for 4 years and you are being paid. Even ordinary workers being paid them 1,500, 1,700. They're able to save and build their own houses.
Say what no as a vice. We feel vice no president. What no was we feel what means that I want to make sure. Why a president we feel still I was saying for one man. Means I said they are the party no show no man. On person we flew on.
It's it's a government property, and it should be a government property.
Okay.
It shouldn't be sold to an individual. He served the country for 8 years, 6 years. That's fine enough. We should be able to put up his own house.
Obe free mu say be a mini baby ti. Obi wo ho betimi aka say o mini baby ti ba won ti fie honom. Ba radio wa betina fie honom say am mini me pese metena honom a. Enye right way no. E wo se ba kono so, e se ba kono so ngotena hefa.
We actually hope so. If he does that, he has my vote in 2020.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. So let's move on to our next topic. Yesterday, President Akufo Addo, I'd have to get used to that, adding president to Akufo Addo's name. President Akufo Addo announced the first 13 people to serve in his cabinet. Would you want to go through that list quickly?
Okay, the president has Alan Shermantin as his trade minister. He had mentioned that before. Alan Shermantin served as a trade minister under Akufo as well, and then he was also very instrumental in their presidential special initiative. Yes, and they did some pretty good things under that initiative, but in the end, it backfired. Something happened somewhere which wasn't right. I hope Alan learns from his mistakes, and I think if he does, he's going to be a better trade minister than he was in the Akufo administration. That is what I am hoping happens. Especially, he would have to deal with the one district, one factory.
Exactly. If
it falls under his ministry. So let's see how that.
Yeah, because yesterday when Akufo Addo was speaking, he said that he will be counting on him, you know, to provide leadership in the private sector, particularly when it comes to industrializing our economy. And of course, industrialization links to the one district, one factory. So he would have quite a huge task,
yes.
And we'll see how.
And even before he takes office, I mean, there have been like PEF, Guta, and the rest. They've all made demands as to what they expect of a trade minister, because they work directly under the trade ministry. So he would have to listen to their grievances, try and work around them, so that they all meet at a certain point, which would actually make it quite okay for everybody. Then I think he would be a better minister than the previous ones.
Okay, and I think that the another key ministry the president announced is the finance minister designate Ken Ofori-Atta. You know, we saw this coming because you know his name was put out there before he made the official announcement, and yes, he also equally has, you know, an honest task,
credentials,
and it appears, you know, he has good credentials too. He's an investment banker. He's worked, you know, at the Wall Street.
I mean,
a lot of experiences. He co-owns Data Bank here in Ghana, which is doing so well. And I think for him, you know, I'm thinking that the expectations really will be to focus on abolishing the taxes that the NPP government, you know, campaigned. The NPP party campaigned on that they're going to abolish.
And then also stabilizing the city.
Exactly.
Mind you, this year will be our final year with the IMF on the 3-year bailout. So after IMF, what happens next? We are on our own indirectly. So he would have to work harder to make sure the city is stable so that we can all enjoy.
And another key ministry for me too is the Agric Minister designate. You know, Dr. Owusu Efri-Akoto.
A lot of people
were actually expecting that he will find his way in the financial sector, but you know, he is in Agric, and Nana Addo seems to really believe in him. Yesterday he said that he's worked with the International Coffee Organization.
But I see, Dr. Owusu Efri has also been speaking a lot on cocoa and other agric-related issues. So, I mean, most people who have listened to him saw this coming, that he may fit into the agric ministry. We're actually hoping that he does some good stuff, because this is not just about cocoa. There are other sectors in the agric ministry, like the poultry farmers, like the coffee growers. There are a number of people, cotton and all of those people. He should also try and find as a way of maybe refining our raw products and not just exporting our raw products. That will also give us more revenue. So all those things will be some task he will have to also deal with. And then he will also have to deal with the one dam, one village in the northern sector of Ghana.
Yep. That will be key. And I think he's likely to work hand in hand with the trade minister designate, Alan Chemating, because, you know, if we talk about industrialization, we cannot leave out agric. Okay, let's quickly run through the other ministries. Boche Jalkon, Energy Minister designate. Yesterday when I heard his credentials, I was like, wow, yes, you know, that's another key person. He's worked with the Bank of New York, and he was basically consulting on energy issues and you know, finances for the energy issues and all that. So I think he's equally a great fit, hopefully. Dominic Nitiwul, Defense Minister designate. Minister for Interior designate Ambrose Derry. Minister designate for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayokoboche. A lot of people saw this coming. She served as a deputy minister in that ministry before. Minister for Justice and Attorney General Gloria Akufo. Another ministry worth mentioning is the Local Government Ministry, and Hajia Halima Mahama is the minister designate. I think she's people were expecting that she'll be moved to the Gender Ministry, but I think she's also a very, you know, I think she's a good candidate for this particular ministry. She's a lawyer. She served as deputy minister in this same ministry before. And I think she's a strong woman, particularly we need her to be strong. And we would also need her expertise in the law, because Nana Addo has promised that, I think in 2018, we'll start
the election of DCs.
Yes,
so
DCs.
she would have to put in measures to ensure that this is done by 2018.
Yes, and I think that we basically need a lot of reforms, you know, in the local government sector
for decentralization purposes.
Exactly, and I think she's a strong. I mean, I personally like her. So I monitored her when she was in the Akufo administration as the gender. Women's and Children Affairs Minister.
Yes,
then,
it was then
and
Women and
was,
Children Affairs.
I think she was fantastic, a very, very strong woman. Another ministry is the Education Ministry. Matthew Opoku Prempeh is the minister designate. People were expecting him to move to health, but I think Nanado probably trusts his managerial, you know, expertise.
I wouldn't even have appreciated it if they've taken him to health, because a lot of the times, if we would follow, most of the doctors who have gone to the health ministry have not done well. You need an administrator who sort of is not a health person to run the ministry. But when you have a doctor or a health person, someone who has worked in the health sector all his life, also running the ministry, it becomes a problem, because the people are seeing him as one of our own. He feels he knows a lot, and then in the end, he does nothing. But this time around with Akufo Addo also going as the Minister of Health, I mean, I'm trusting him because he's been a chair of PAC on his accountability and all of that. The way he's probed people or probed other ministers when they came to his committee, I'm hoping he will do something better so that probing him will be less, let's put it that way. He'll be probed less than he had probed other people. So yes, for me, I like the appointment of the Education Minister, that is Matthew Opoku Prempeh, and I also like Akufo Addo as Minister of Health.
Well, both of them have, you know, huge task ahead, because Matthew Opoku Prempeh is expected to implement Nanado's vision of free education at the secondary school level, and then of course Akufo Addo NHIS, you know, getting the health insurance scheme back on its
and
feet.
Both of them would actually be having two of the biggest labor unions to work with, UTAG, teachers associations, the health workers associations, and you know those people agitate a lot. Immediately they want something, they want it done. So all the promises made by the NPP during campaign, like restoring the teacher training allowances, the nursing training, these people will have to ensure that those things happen, and they happen as soon as possible. So that's quite a huge task for the two of them as well.
Well, quite a huge task for the two of them as well, as you heard from Magdalene. Let's move on to our next topic, which is, you know, who takes over from ex-President John Dramani Mahama. The clamor has already started, you know, and people already, you think that, you know, they'll hold on for a while. I personally don't think this is the time for them to even have this conversation.
I think it's too early, especially because they formed a committee to probe why they lost, and then all of a sudden names are coming up. So like two conflicting things at a time. But I hope they are able to handle both. You know, when people start mentioning names, people start getting enemies as well, because everybody's trying to build a camp. And then that would also be an issue. Even when they went into the election with a united front, as we saw it, they didn't win. So if they come with a divided camp and also in opposition in 2020, it's going to be a very difficult task for them.
Well, some of the names that people are throwing around, let me just quickly go through some of them. Ekos Piogabra, former Trade and Industry Minister. What do you make of that choice?
Okay, his name has been up for so long. Yes, even before former President Mahama came into the scene and all. But in an interview with the radio station, he said he would decide in 2 years. Yes, in that 2 years, he says he will be resting, he'll be doing other things. And then he doesn't want to be part of the discussions, especially because they have to find their reasons for the defeat. So afterwards, when a report is presented and they have Congress and all, that is when he's going to decide whether he's going to run for presidency or not.
Okay. Haruna Idrisu?
Haruna Idrisu will make a fine president, yes. But the thing is, will the NDC want to bring him? Because I'm thinking, you know, they are trying to sort of share the party cake in a way that everybody gets some. They've brought someone from the northern sector. They have brought someone from the central, someone from Volta. So now they'll be looking to satisfy another region, possibly. in the party so that people don't feel left out. So I don't know, but yeah.
But I mean, Haruna Idrisu, I've always thought that, you know, he's been groomed to be president, and he's probably also grooming himself to be president. But I don't think that 2020 is his time. You know, that's my personal. I think 2020 will be pretty too early for him. But hey, let's see what the NDC people will decide. Guzitano.
How do you call him? A prodigal son?
I also thought that this Guzitano should his name even come in here?
Yeah, but you see, former President Rawlings mentioned him in one of his speeches. So you never know. And anytime Rawlings has mentioned something, he seems to have an agenda.
But can Rawlings push any agenda in the NDC? Well, they are in opposition now, but you know, for the past 8 years, we've seen that the Rawlings influence has really dwindled.
After the defeat, I think a lot of people are going back to Rawlings. They are still seeing him as their founder. You never know.
Well, he's the founder, but you know, as to whether he wields that much influence, we'll see. Hannah Tete.
I know she's been groomed for that position. I have heard Haruna Idrisu at a platform once say that he would only contest after Hannah Tete has contested. What I fear is Ghana ready for a female president.
Why isn't Ghana ready for a female president?
Especially Hannah Tete. I think a lot of people have issues with her. I don't think she's arrogant. I think she's just assertive. But a lot of people think she's arrogant. A lot of people think, especially if you follow her Twitter handle, the way she tweets, what she says, even after they've lost and the handing over has been done. I can't remember the quote exactly, but let me paraphrase it. Sort of, now this is my personal wall. You write something I don't like, I block you. The joys of being free again. Something like that.
The joys of being a citizen of civil.
Yeah.
Like something, yeah, I think I remember
you
something
see,
like that.
So, I mean, people would look at all of that and they would consider to vote for them or not.
Sylvester Mensah, I also don't understand what his name is doing here. Sylvester Mensah, former NHIS boss.
I don't know. I think the NDC will, I wouldn't say they'll be doing themselves a great disservice, but they wouldn't have been loyal to their own selves if they bring Sylvester on board. Because this is the person you have bastardized in a certain way. And then it will be, I mean, your opposition will have too much to use against you if they are to bring Sylvester Mensah. For me, that's what I think.
Let's wrap up, you know, the conversation on who takes over from Mahama. But I just think it's too early for these discussions to start happening. But who knows, you know, as the saying goes, I don't know who said this. I hope I'm not plagiarizing. The earlier, the better. So maybe they should start this conversation now.
No,
and then,
or never.
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much, Magdalene, for joining me to have this discussion. We'll be moving on to our entertainment segment, and we'll be talking about, you know, what is hot in the entertainment industry. David Mawali will be joining me pretty soon. Okay, so this is the entertainment segment, and as I said earlier, I have with me David Mawali, who is our entertainment editor, to talk about a very, very, very important entertainment story, and it has to do with Mark Okreku Mante, who is a music producer, threatening to sue Ghana's #1 rapper. You may agree or disagree. Sarkodie.
He's not the #1 rapper.
Well, Mawali will disagree, but you know, he's #1 for me. Mawali, tell us about the story. What's happening there?
Okay, if you remember at Rapperholic 2016, Sarkodie performed a tribute song to late Dasibre Jamna, and that is Kokoko. So this is what Sarkodie did. Sarkodie picked the Kokoko beat and he sampled it, and he let Jeso convert it to a sort of hip-hop. And so he performed as a tribute. So later he came to release the song as maybe so that people can have access to the song. And so yesterday, Marco Okreku Mante was interviewed where he disclosed that he's going to sue Sarkodie because the song belongs to Marco Okreku. He's the one who produced it. And also, by then he was managing Dasibre Jamna, so he was both manager and also the producer. So he owns the rights to the song. So Mark says he will take him up. Then.
Do you think he has a case?
He has a case. I mean, under the copyright law, you are not supposed to pick someone's work and present it as your own. So he has a case. But there was some other discussions too yesterday that has to do with just a normal tribute song. It's something that he's just doing to honor Dasibire Jama. So why should there be a fuss about the whole issue? But also another conversation popped up yesterday, also which has to do with another copyright infringement, or let's say plagiarism. Plagiarism is the topic now. And there was a research that brought up another song which belongs to an American singer, Brandy. Okay. And the song is titled "You Don't Know Me." Okay. And also people were arguing that if he's trying to sue Sarkodie, then he can also be sued because the song he did was also a sample
of Brandy's
yes, of song. Brandy's song. Under copyright law and in the music fraternity, you can sample 4 bars. Okay. So I can pick your song, sample first 4, and loop. That is when I pick and I sample first 4, I can continue with the same sampling, and that is acceptable. Okay. But if I take the entire song, or I even sampled 5 bars, that is, you can, yes, that's an issue.
So in this case, Okreku Mante sampled 4 bars from Brandy's song.
It did not even reach 4 bars because it was like first 2. Okay. The patch in the beginning. So that particular kick in the beginning, it's okay. You can't. I mean, all yeah.
But Sarkodie sampled the full. Yeah, yeah. It took every bar.
It took everything, and then he mixed it and made it hip hop. Okay. Okay, so that's where the issue is.
I like it when the law is tested. Let him sue. I mean, if we're tired with the threats. If you want to sue, just go ahead and sue already. You may get some money. Sarkodie has money. So that's it for our maiden edition of Paul's Blitz. It's a show where we review the topical issues making rounds in the country. I have been your host, Betty Kankambwedu, and Magdalene was here with me, and of course, David Mauli. See you next time.